For the millions of people who are scared of flying, this time of year can prove particularly challenging.
Yeah, if it's something you're struggling with, the Speakmans are here to share their advice. Let's get straight to our first caller. We've had loads of phone calls today, haven't we?
Lots.
Yeah.
Lots and lots and lots. OK, first up, we've got Rachel. Good morning, Rachel.
Good morning.
Good morning. So what's your problem with flying, Rachel?
Well, just the whole build-up, really. So I'm able to book a holiday, really excited about doing that. But as soon as I've booked it and a couple of weeks to go, I just get really, really anxious. When I get to the airport, it's even worse. When I get on the plane, my belly starts going. I've even been physically sick on flights. And, you know, when you feel so sick to your stomach, that, yeah, it's just horrendous. It all goes on.
Yeah, OK. And have you ever flown calmly, or have you always been a little bit sort of anxious about flying?
I've always been, well, when I was younger, actually, I was absolutely fine. I think it's since I've been, like, in my mid to late 20s, that's when it's got really bad.
Could I ask, is that since you've had children?
Yes,
yeah. And yeah, it's so common because I think when we have children as a parent, we suddenly feel that we have this extra responsibility and we've got to stay around, we've got to keep these little humans that we love so much safe. So that's very, very common that when you become a parent, that any sort of worries around flying can escalate. So what I'd like to do, because I know I think you particularly wanted some tips to help you to feel calmer. So a great thing that you can do is to imagine yourself. So we're going to use a little bit of visualisation, and you're going to imagine yourself both going to the airport, being at the airport, calmly flying. And whilst you're sort of visualising that, I need you to do a really big sigh. One of those kind of sighs where you let your shoulders drop and you sort of let yourself sink into the seat. And you're going to do that a few times and every day for a couple of weeks up until the holiday. And the reason that that really helps is, number one, it acts like a rehearsal, so it kind of tricks your brain. Yeah, I've done this, and it felt OK. But also, what's really great about sighing, it's like our little inbuilt toolbox to help us to feel calmer, because what we actually do when we sigh is we release what are known as alpha waves in the brain. And they are what we release when we practice things like mindfulness and meditation. So you've kind of got that build-up, as well as you can use that on the plane and some great distraction things like podcasts, books, listen to music as well along the way.
OK, that sounds really good, thank you.
Give it a go.
Rachel, were you watching earlier? Did you see our pilots?
I did, yeah, they were really
help?
good. And yeah, they really reassured me, to be fair. And even the statistics, like what they said about car deaths and things like that, that's actually reassuring, because they're right, we don't hear about things like that, do we?
And I think that something else that we forget to sort of appreciate is that every pilot and all the crew, they also want to get home to be with their families, so they wouldn't put themselves at risk either.
Try that sigh thing, Rachel, and let us know how you get on, OK?
Oh, thank you ever so much.
Great stuff.
Thank you,
Right,
Rachel.
let's speak to Susan, who's in West Yorkshire. Hi, Susan.
Morning.
Hi, good morning.
Now, Susan, you haven't flown for 40 years, is that right?
That's right, yeah. Yes, I'm due to fly 3 weeks on Sunday, and I'm not quite sure I'll actually get on the aircraft.
OK, it's just a short flight, though, isn't it?
Yes, it's only 75 minutes.
Right, and there was you had some horrendous turbulence the last time you flew, and that's why you've developed this fear?
Yes.
OK.
Susan, so you're saying that it was the turbulence that caused this fear, and again, sorry.
I wasn't frightened before.
Right, OK.
Yeah.
So if you listen to our pilots before, obviously there are new, they've got new ways of detecting turbulence now, which have changed in the last 2 years. So, you know, they will actively try and avoid that now more than ever. But I'd also like you to consider that, for me, turbulence is a bit like potholes in the road, and potholes seem to be appearing everywhere these days. And, you know, you don't want to drive in one because obviously you don't feel great in the car. So we actively try and avoid them, but sometimes we just can't avoid them. But ultimately, nothing really happens. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
And a couple of things I'd like to add to that to help you to feel better. Firstly, affirmations. They work really well because what you're doing is you're repeating that I'm in good hands. So, you know, you can start to say that. Oh, and your affirmation can be whatever it is that troubles you. But when we repeat something, we do start to believe it, and it really does help to start to sink in. So that's the first thing. Be sure to tell the cabin crew as well how you feel. They are incredible. They are all trained to help you to feel calmer and better. And the other thing I'd just like you to concentrate on is the destination. Not so much how you're going to get there, but what you're going to do when you get there. So photographs or brochures of where you're going also really helps to divert your thoughts to what you're actually going to be doing as opposed to how you're going to get there.
That is really important, actually, because when you take a car journey, you don't think about what's going to happen in between getting to your destination. You know, sometimes in a car journey, you'll get diversions, you might, you know, but you might get stuck in traffic, but you don't think about that. You just think about your destination. And when you focus on your destination, it changes things.
And also try the sign technique that I just shared.
Yeah, more sighing as well.
It's really, really good.
Good luck with that,
I was practising that while he was speaking to that lady.
Oh, good.
Brilliant.
Keep on it and try and get on that flight. Think, as Nick was saying, think about the destination and what a lovely time you're going to have when you get there.
For sure.
I will do. Thank you.
Have a great time.
Next up, we've got Lee. Good morning, Lee. Now, you want to go and see your son in Dubai.
Yes.
What's your problem?
About 15 years ago, I went on a flight with family to Lanzarote, and there were about 20 members. And I just, as soon as I got back, I got into my head, if that plane goes down, right, I've wiped up family out. And ever since, I've never been on holiday.
Cool. Do you know what's happened there, Lee? And let me put that into perspective for you. So you go on the plane, you fly, you know, you've flown before and you've not had a problem. And this all changed with one thought. And it was a thought about something that never actually happened. But what happens when we have a thought and it puts us in this state of panic, which obviously it did, your brain then has to try and find some solution and something to blame as to what that problem could be. And you were thinking about losing 20 members of your family. So obviously, in that moment, you blamed the plane. But ultimately, what I want you to consider is what happened. And what I'd like to do is have a fears versus fascination list, because I want you to ask yourself, what could fascinate you about planes, and look at evidence as opposed to one thought that you had that was terrifying, I get that, but it never actually happened.
Yeah, give it a go, Lee, and think about what all of our pilots said just about the safety of flying. When you think about how many flights and how many passengers fly each and every day around the world, and
16.5 million people fly every single day.
On average.
Yeah, on average, which is an incredible amount considering what could possibly go wrongly. Yeah. So, yeah, some really interesting thoughts. And fingers crossed you get on that flight and you go and see your son.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Thank you.
Good luck, Lee.
Thank you.
Well, we haven't got time to get through the rest of them. There's loads of people here.
There's so many.
It's amazing, isn't it? Like you say, one thought all those years ago, in that moment, has stopped Lee from getting on a plane.
One thought can change everything, you know, because ultimately he got terrified with that thought, and essentially nothing happened, and that's the thing.
And I think sometimes when you're sat on a plane, you've got time to start to think about things. If it's a negative, then you can start to catastrophise, which is why positive distractions all the way.
And sighing.
And sighing. It's so good.
You do feel better after that.
Yeah.
Actually. Thank you.
Right then.